Welcome again everyone. Makalikasang araw po sa inyong lahat and welcome once again to our Kamayan para sa Kalikasan Forum on a Friday afternoon. Before anything else, allow me to introduce myself. I am David Angelo, the Public Relations Officer of Green Convergence, and I'm very excited to be a co-moderator once again for this month's Kamayan session, the 429th session with the theme Realities of Mining and Green Transition. And this month's session is very special because Green Convergence is joined by one of our very long-time allies, Alianza Tigil Mina, in organizing this specific session. Pagbati po sa lahat ng ating mga kasama sa ATM na nasa forefront po ng laban para sa mga mapabinsalang proyekto sa inang kalikasan. This session is aligned with ATM and allied civil society organizations recently concluded Anti-Mining Solidarity Week 2026 or yung tinatawag po nating Mining Hell Week. At ang team ngayong taon ay Bahanang Mina, Barikada ang Depensa. During the week, environmental advocates and defenders came together to amplify public awareness on pressing mining issues, especially among concerned authorities, and to highlight the barricades set up by communities nationwide that are directly affected by these challenges. Of course, in line with Green Convergence principles of unity, we see the value in this initiative, know as well as the need for continuous conservation. Kaya we wholeheartedly acknowledge ATM for saying yes to the partnership. At bago po ako matalala, kasi napakaganda po ng isyong ito sa dami-dami ng kinakaharap nating problema, allow me muna to introduce my co-moderator, the Media and Communications Officer of Green Convergence, Marian Luisa Palo. Makalikasang araw sa iyo, Marian.
Before anything else, happy Women's Month to all who
Uy,
celebrate, especially to the women in the environmental and agricultural spaces. My heart goes out to the backbone of our communities, to all the women who heed to the call of Mother Nature. Happy Women's Month po! And yes, welcome to Kamayan para sa Kalikasan's 429th session, themed Realities of Mining and the Green Transition, co-organized of course with Alianza Tigil Mina. Hello po sa ating mga kasama sa Alianza Tigil Mina. Ayun na nga, as Sir David had mentioned, we truly see the value in this steadfast initiative of ATM and allied CSOs, no? And we recognize the importance of continuing the conversations on these very timely and relevant issues. Not to preempt naman gaano the direction of our session today, no, but as seen online and in the news naman, these issues seem to not only impact the environment, but widely even human rights. So with this, we invited eminent resource speakers to discuss this further and touch on all the corners related to mining, the situation in the communities where barricades are put up to defend their lands, the green transition, the emerging trends on offshore and seabed mining, and other mining-related issues that may be opened later on. Kaya, we invite all of you to participate in the discussions. Share this live stream on your timeline. We are live on Facebook. Tag your friends and invite them to join in the conversation. Back to you, Sir David.
so yon, napakaganda. Maraming salamat, Marian. At we look forward, no? All of us, let's look forward to our discussion today. Before we start, let's greet our participants muna. So when I call your sector, click the react option in your Zoom screens and drop us a heart reaction so we can see you and recognize all of you. So tara na, sige, pakilala muna tayo. Sino po yung mga nandito ngayon na present na mula sa Academe? Yan, heart react po tayo, mga kasama. Mga ka-green, sino po yung sa Academe dyan?
Hello.
Ayan. Good afternoon. Mga ang
Ayan.
dami-daming interesado sa topic natin. Yung pong mga civil society organizations, ayan, pa-heart rock naman po. Ayan, heart tayo
Hello po.
dyan. Okay,
Ayan.
good afternoon. Yung pong mga nasa media sector naman, media, pwedeng content
Ito ko
creator,
dyan.
pwedeng mga media sa school, pwedeng mga mainstream media, yan, good afternoon. Yung nasa church, mga miyembro ng simbahan, mga pare, madre, mga lay ministers, mga taong simbahan, pwede na rin yung mga banal, wag lang yung nagbabanal-banalan. Yung mga nasa private sector, mga businesses, Natatawa tuloy si President Vicky eh. Mga private sector po, yan, pa-heart react naman. At yung nasa government sector,
Hello
ayan.
po.
Yes, mga kalikasang hapon po sa inyo. Ayan, talaga namang full pack na full pack ang ating mula Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao. Nakita ko rin, nag-register din yung mga taga-DNR. Kaya napakaganda po ng ating magiging usapan ngayong araw. At dahil Women's Month, let me especially call on all the women in the Zoom room, ang mga kababaihan. Ayan. Shout out sa lahat po ng kababaihan na siyang nagiging ilaw ng tahanan. At sakto kasi Maria, no? Ang tawag sa kalikasan ay inang kalikasan. So very very coincidental, tama-tama, Women's Month at sakto rin ina natin ang kalikasan. Ayan. Kaya po muli, Happy Women's Month po sa inyong lahat and great to see all of you today. To formally open today's Kamayan Forum, let us first hear the opening remarks of a women leader. We look forward to the ever passionate, ito po yung aking mentor, kaya talagang minahal ko ng sobrang kalikasan. Hindi patatalo sa buhay, palaging palaban para sa kalikasan. Ang President ng Green Convergence, Miss Victoria Vicky Segovia. Mga kalikasang araw po.
Yeah.
Thank you very
Okay
much,
po.
Dave, for that kind introduction. Can you hear me now?
Yes po, loud and clear.
Yes po.
Afternoon. I would like to thank our partner, Alianza Tigil Mina, for co-organizing this afternoon's Kamayan episode with the theme, Realities of Mining and the Green Transition. Since I joined the environmental movement more than 31 years ago, the issue of mining has always been an annoying concern that cycles like the proverbial waiting for Godot. Responsible Filipinos like us get disturbed by constant news of environmental damage, displacement of communities, and questions of justice on whether our country gets the fair share of the profits, and so on. Even the Mining Act of 1995 did not help. Our beloved Gina Lopez saw herself wading in hot waters as DENR secretary due to the mining issue. Yes, the DENR is responsible for giving the permits and monitoring the mining industry in our country. And this brings me to a disturbing realization about the nature and mandate of DENR. DENR is supposed to protect our natural resources, and yet it is also empowered to issue permits that might destroy these very natural resources. I attended a conference on better air quality last week in Bangkok, Thailand. Some ministers were invited to speak. I noticed that in the other countries, the title is Minister of Environment and Climate Change, Minister of Environment and Disaster Risk Management, or the like. The Office of the Secretary of Environment is focused on the protection of the environment and not to issue permit for its exploitation. I think this schizophrenic nature of our DENR prevents it from truly protecting our environment. For the MGB is under DENR, and it is authorized to issue mining permits. What is my point? I think it is about time we advocate for a change of mandate of DENR, empower it to solely protect our natural resources, and remove from it the responsibility of issuing permits for its exploitation. I remember that a few years ago, we campaigned for a change in the title of NEDA from National Economic Development Authority, which focused the mandate on economics, to what we have today, DepDev, Department of Development, which could lead to a shift in focus to authentic sustainable development and not just focus on economics. To help solve our problem on mining and the destruction of our natural resources, maybe all of us here can start advocating for a government entity whose sole focus is the protection of our environment. We have a new DENR secretary who is from the ranks. Let us cooperate with him to work out the genuine protection of our environment by the radical change of name of our environment to just focus on protecting the environment as its mandate. Let us just call it Secretary, Department of Environment, Department of Environmental Protection, Department of Environment and Climate Change, so that we don't need another commission for climate change, etc. Let us start working on this idea and urge Congress to make it a priority legislation. Are you with me? Thank you and good afternoon again.
Ah, wala akong masabi doon sa ano kasi parang for a very long time, yun yung matagal ko na rin iniisip na parang may seeming contradiction talaga yung yung protection at saka pagpa-process o pag-gather ng natural resources. So thank you very much, Miss Vicky, for the moving opening remarks, and I hope we can have a separate topic on that kasi parang napaka-interesting no. Ano ba yung pwedeng mangyari at maging ayos. Maraming salamat po. So, Marian, back to you.
Yes po, thank you Miss Vicky and Sir David. Very well said po, no? So before we begin, we'd like to once again remind our participants on Zoom to avoid any distracting ambient noise. We kindly ask everyone to keep your microphones on mute. This will help ensure that everyone can clearly hear our resource speakers. But of course, we still want to know your thoughts and reactions, no? So feel free to use the chat box to share your comments. We'll welcome them, keep an eye on them, and may even read some of them later on sa open forum natin. And also, feel free to turn your cameras on so we can help create a more interactive space. But if your bandwidth is limited, no pressure at all. We still appreciate you joining us today. All right, I think we're ready to begin na po talaga. Sir David?
So yan, let's go. No? So, simulan na natin yung discussion ng ating first topic. And thank you for that reminders, Marian. Let me now introduce the first resource speaker of our program. First and foremost, to share with us an overview of today's mining situation, the progresses and the challenges, as well as the concepts behind what we call the green transition. Yan, madalas natin naikinig yung green transition na yan. I have the honor to introduce the programs coordinator of LILAC, the Purple Action for Indigenous Women's Rights. Please welcome Miss Cheryl Pulutan. Mga kalikasang araw po sa inyo. Magandang hapon din.
Ayong hapon sa tanan, magandang hapon po. So ako po si Che ng LILAC Purple Action for Indigenous Women's Rights at kami din po ay member ng Alyansa Tigil Mina, particularly working and convening the Women and Mining Working Group, which is actually a working group within the Alliance that really focuses on highlighting the gender impacts of mining to the communities. My organization actually works with Indigenous women, and most of these communities are communities that are impacted of mining. So siguro it's a little bit of a pressure to me to set the tone of this afternoon kasi nakita ko maganda yung at manggagaling yung mga nakalinya po sa atin na kasama natin ngayon. Pero just for us to, I think most of us already have an idea around tawag dito, around the green transition that's been going on globally and not just here in the Philippines. But just for us to have a glimpse and just to contextualize the issue of mining around the green transition. Kasi parang for so many, bakit ba maingay ang mga anti-mining groups or ang mga environmental advocates? Ano naman, ang pinag-uusapan naman natin ay solution to this climate crisis and the climate change impacts. But But then again, just for me to have a little bit maybe help everyone, or alam ko maraming may mas alam dito, but just for us to have a glimpse of ano ba talaga ang impacts ng money sa mga communities natin. So, um, one moment, teka lang po. Okay. So para lang po sa mabilisang pagsilip ano po ba, what is the green transition? It's actually because, as we all know, we are actually in crisis. Sabi nga nila, parang nasa rurok na tayo ng pagtunaw ng mundo. And it's literally because of, all of the impacts of the climate change that we have been experiencing. And for the Philippines, as the most disaster-prone country in the whole world, tayo ang may pinakamadami din na pinagdaanan na mga bagyo, mga unos at mga disasters in connection to the climate change. And because of all these crises that we are supposed to be collectively experiencing globally, there is a really move to shift from fossil-based systems to renewable energy. Ano bang ibig sabihin nito? So, imbis na gumamit ng crudo na pagkataas-taas ngayon ng presyo, we will shift to renewable energy. So like solar, wind, hydro, and any other sustainable technologies. Dahil nga nasa crisis ito, nagkaroon tayo ng pag-uusap ng mga bansa to have this like a goal. Ano ba yung magiging goal niya? So sana by 2050, sana net zero na daw, wala ng emission. So meaning merong mga pagbabago na dapat gawin. So at may phases na sinasabi sila na magpapataas ng kaalaman or awareness, and then we go to policy formation. That's why our governments are actually demanded not to have the national action plan around this. Tapos mayroong infrastructure shift, may adoption. So may mga stages yan until such time that we would reach 2050. So these are the different sectors na nakikita na makikita talaga dapat ang pagbabago doon sa tinatawag na green transition. It would be around electricity, transportation, buildings, and industry. Marami pa pong iba, but these are the most major things that should be transitioned around the context of the green transition to address climate change impact. At when we talk about green transition, kung babalikan po natin ang lahat ng to, electricity, transport, buildings, and industry, ang reality po niyan ay kailangan niya ng maraming minerales. And because of the drive for energy transition, some minerals are said to be critical minerals for us to be able to push through with this green transition. So ito po, ang source po nito, na-acknowledge ko po, mula po ito sa isang magandang discussion paper po ng ATM member din ng Legal Rights and Natural Resources Center. Pwede nyo din po yun i-check. Maganda yung kanilang paper. Pinakita po doon yung mga ilan sa mga sinasabing critical minerals. So meron dyan, depende kung saan mo gagamitin, maraming copper, nickel, lithium. So ito yung mga sinasabi na mga kinakailangan or very critical for us to be able to really move forward into our goal of transitioning. So therefore, labeling these minerals as very critical. This actually means more mining operations. And this is a very alarming context and reality for the Philippines because most of those that are considered critical minerals are available here in our country. In fact, pag pinag-uusapan natin ng nickel, we are second to Indonesia sa may pinakamalawak na mineral deposit ng nickel. So you could imagine if these governments are really pushing to fast track the transition so that they would reach the goal in 2050, they would really push for the transition. Thus, this would actually, in reality, there would be a need to extract more minerals that they say is critical. And why are we saying this? Because generally and globally, hindi naman tayo usually I don't even think we have a best practice around recycled minerals. Most of it are really just dug up, extracted, and then used. Ganon. So and we all know that minerals are finite. So yun yung critical din na kailangan nating bantayan when we talk about green transition. Um, just to have an idea, no? For example, when we talk about copper, ito ay mula sa isang study, no? Ang source nito ay global data na talagang tataas yung demand ng copper. So it would mean more mining in the communities. Copper, one of our partner communities in Tampakan is also rich in gold and copper. So as we speak, matagal na natigil ng mga komunidad na hindi pa umusbong yung malakihang pagmimina sa loob ng Tampakan. Pero ngayon ay talagang agresibo ang pagtutulak na matuloy ang copper because of the demand. At gold at copper, because of the demand globally na may kinalaman sa energy transition. And just for us also to have an idea, there is an estimated around 184.9 billion, no, by 2036. Mag-expand daw yung market around nickel kasi nga demand ito for electronic vehicles, even the solar panels would need this mineral. So 'di ba, from the perspective of an investor, talagang they will do anything and everything so that they will be able to have access to all of these mineral deposits. And ganun kayaman ang Pilipinas, thus making us also very, very vulnerable when we talk about, you know, in prospect for investments ng mga taong may gustong makakuha ng ating mga minerales. Dahil nga ito ay sinasabing mahalaga dito sa pag-abot ng sinasabi nilang goal nila by 2050 na magkaroon ng green transition. Pero, so I cannot actually speak generally for everyone, but there's really more focus on my presentation would really focus on the issues of indigenous women because this is where we primarily work. They are our partners and the indigenous communities are the areas where we primarily work with. So, alam natin to, this is green convergence. We all know that environmental destruction na dala ng mining. Hindi lang pagbabago ng landscape, ganyan yung nakikita natin sa larawan na nabubungkal at nasisira yung landscape ng isang komunidad na pinapasukan ng mina. But it would affect the entire biodiversity and the ecosystem where these mining operations are coming in. Magpa-plug ako, di ba? Meron kaming Community Women's Day sa Brooks Point, Palawan next week. This is in connection with the Women's Month, and we are actually going to be standing side by side with the Palawan women kasi they have been standing against a nickel mining operation in their community because it has been, causing a lot of problems. At kung pag-uusapan natin ang environmental destruction, ganito na po ang itsura ng kanilang mga lugar, which is very, very ironic because this area is part of the protected area in Palawan. And when we talk about Palawan, alam naman po natin, no, yan ang Amazon version natin ng Pilipinas. This is the last frontier. But it seems like this is unimportant when it comes to the greed around extracting the nickel that they would need for green transition. So marami ang nawawala dyan in terms of environmental destruction, water source, biodiversity, the flora and fauna, ng Palawan. Kasi isipin mo, sikat na sikat ang Palawan. That's why even up to, kaya nga po, this Women's Month, to assert the rights of the women, of the Palawan women, kasabay ng kanilang panawagan, nasamahan sila para doon sa kanilang pagtindig para sa kalikasan. Kasi nga maraming impacts ang mining, no, dito sa ating kalikasan. Second is really around human rights violations. Most of those who are here right now, together with all of us who are part of the Green Convergence, Alam natin ang kahirapan ng pinagdadaanan ng mga environmental defenders, those, the community that are really on the front lines on defending the environment against mining. Because we would hear stories around harassment, criminalization, and physically assaulting those people in the front lines. And we are all in a very difficult position right now because even the solidarity groups of the community organizations, of the community people, the community women, are also facing equal threats and attacks just because we're standing against this very extractive and destructive industry. So marami po, no, marami tayong kwento. Mamaya, nakita ko sa linya natin, nandito si Ate Beth, may mga community tayong mga kasama ngayon. They could share more on their real and, first-hand experience on what human rights violations look like for the women, for the men, for the youth in the communities. Pagka mag-zoom in po tayo on the issues around indigenous women human rights defenders, when a women human rights defender is under attack or a woman environmental human rights defender is under attack, meron din talaga siyang natatanging impact sa isang nanay, kunyari, that who needs to leave her children or who needs to leave the community because of the different, forms of human rights violations or different threats that they will encounter because of their defense of their land and the environment. So isa ito sa pinaka-impact ng ating sinasabing mining in connection to green transition. But we also would like, as LILAC, we also would like to give highlight around gender-based violence and sexual violence sa issue ng mining. There are communities that we cannot disclose because of security reasons who are actually facing a lot of sexual violence because of the presence of mining operations. The tendency kasi is that when a mining operation is in a community, there would be an influx of outside people, no, yung mga contract work nila for the operation. And most of this were contracted out, but that they are bringing in the communities are men. So we have documented cases around men who are actually are harassing women and girls. So we have a specific community where kasi di ba nakabunk yung mga mine workers, they are nakabank usually lalo pagka hindi locally hired, and most of them are not locally hired when we talk about mining operations. So marami sa mga school children or school girls na dadaan sa mga banks na yon ay nakakaranas ng catcalling, minsan ay hinahabol pa literally ng mga mine workers na ito. Kaya takot na takot sila around these issues. There are also stories about young women who are started with engaging in a romantic relationship with the mine workers, but eventually would experience online sexual violence because intimate relationships or, intimate acts are put out there in the public without their consent, of course. So there are a lot, and there are even stories around areas now where ATM is also working with in the sites of struggles, stories about increase in prostitution, because there would also be a lot of tawag dito, mga videoke, mga ganon-ganon sa mga areas na maraming mga mining operations. So there has also been stories around the increase of prostitution in these areas. But we can also talk about gender-based violence in the context of mining because of the impact of the loss of livelihood due to mining. We all know that most of the communities where there is mining, there's also a high level of poverty. Kasi nga nawalan sila ng kabuhayan because most of these communities are actually agriculture dependent. Because of poverty, mahirap na ang buhay, aburido ang pamilya. There are increase of gender-based violence, and we're talking about domestic violence in areas where there is mining. So LILAC actually has some documentations that we are yet to publish because we're still on the stage of validating these documentations that were made by our community women. So community women, indigenous women led na mga documentations po itong mga na ibabahagi ko. So sa totoo lang, it is a very parang kailangan ang matinding pag-iingat natin when we talk about green transition. Because we are not saying na hindi tayo, because we all acknowledge that there is a climate crisis. And hindi ibig sabihin nun that we are against any steps that would help everyone around, transitioning into something that is more sustainable, that is more environmental friendly na pamamaraan sa ating mga pamumuhay, especially around energy. But the thing is, in pushing that, we should also consider a holistic approach on it, because if it would mean that we would go to green transition, but we would still practice how we are doing mining, especially here in our country, ano natin masasabing we are transitioning into something more sustainable when communities lost their livelihood, when communities have no more or their resources are already depleted because of this operation. So ang magiging tanong mo ay transition for who? We should not just transition. Meaning, sige lang, mag-transition lang tayo. We should do just transition and gender-based climate solutions. Yun po yung ang sinasabi natin, no, na parang, yes, there is a need for us to transition, but the process of transitioning towards a more sustainable, way of energy transition, we should take into consideration that by the environment is protected, human rights are not being violated, and there's no one who is left behind, including the rights of the indigenous people and the rights of the women. I would like to give a shout out to this discussion paper from the Legal Rights and Natural Resources Center, kasi napakaganda po at napaka-komprehensibo na i-present din namin ito to our partners. We've discussed yung kanilang pagsabi na ano ba kasi ang just transition, what are those things that we should look into it so that we can say it's a just transition. So first, it should be post-extractivist, meaning hindi tayo extract for the reason that, parang, ang tawag dito, yung parang very capitalist pa rin na kuha lang ng kuha, sige, kuha lang ng kuha. Tapos, it must be around the framework of resource efficiency, meaning we just get what we need, parang ganon. Hindi yung sobra-sobra. Sa SISTE ngayon, kaya po present yung demand ng market ng nickel, ganon, kasi mas ganon ang track ng karamihan ng mga corporations, and unfortunately ng karamihan sa mga gobyerno na kasabay ng pag-transition ay ang pagpapalago ng negosyo, and that is very, very extractivist. Dapat din ang ating transition ay nandoon sa loob ng nasa loob ng konteksto na merong justisya para sa lahat. So if a community would say no, then it should be respected, especially when we talk about indigenous communities. When they would say no to a project, then it should not be pushed in the name of na parang, kailangan yan because we are in a crisis, we're facing a crisis. So it should be rights-based. Kumbaga, kikilalanin mo ang mga karapatan na nandyan sa mga komunidad kung saan mangyayari ang maraming mga pagmimina, even those projects around kapag ka nagbi-build ng mga windmills, mga ganyan. So it should be just, and there's circularity. This is one thing that is also around. Huwag tayong maging asyong aksaya, tama ba? Sorry, lumalabas ang pagkabisaya ko. Pero yung asyong aksaya, that sige lang, go lang ng go, extract lang ng extract. There should be an acknowledgement, a further, study around how can we maximize what is already extracted? How can we study more options that we can do without, distracting more or destroying more um, of our resources. And syempre yung accountability din ng mga korporasyon. Kailangan merong corporate accountability around dito sa buong proseso na ito. And before I end, I think it is also very good to look into hindi lang sa usapin ng transition but also around climate solutions, no? Again, in the context of no one should be left behind. There should be a more gender-based solutions. There should be more responsive climate policies. We should support communities and indigenous traditional farming methods. Dahil marami pong nakatagong mga pamamaraan ng ating mga komunidad, both rural and indigenous communities, around sustainable agriculture that could, really be resilient and responsive to the climate change impacts. So ilan lang po yan sa mga maibabahagi ko, and for the interest of time, maraming salamat po, at alam ko po na mas marami ding ibabahagi, lalo na doon sa konteksto ng impacts of mining, the green transition ng community, because there are brave and dying, may mga idol ko din na mga community leaders who are here in the room today. So I think that's it for me. If there are any questions or clarifications, maraming salamat po at maayong hapon.
Yes po. All right. Thank you very much, Ms. Cheryl. So, ayun, as discussed, green transition daw is basically the shift to renewable energy, focusing on solar, wind, hydro, and sustainable technologies, driven, of course, by global climate goals and resource sustainability, which, of course, good and urgent. But as Ms. Cheryl said, transition for who, no? With this shift, it would entail more mining, and with this demand, nagiging mas destructive siya with mismanagement and also impactful sa human rights issues sa bansa, notably yung gender-based violence, no? Which I believe is timely ngayon na Women's Month, no? Totoo naman na introspectively, gender-based violence is a huge concern when we talk about environmental challenges, no? And it is a must that we always find a way to bring this to light, no? And thank you, of course, to Lila sa pagtindig po kasama ang mga kababaihan, especially indigenous women, on the struggle against environmental neglect. And again, thank you again for discussing what the green transition is with us, Ms. Cheryl, as well as what impacts it would